First one I wanted to talk to you about is this one here, the fourth hole, which is the kind of signature par 5 of the golf course. It's very hard and very long for the average golfer. So this first bunker you can see down the left is a 300-yard carry to get over the bunker. It's slightly downhill, but it's 300 yards to carry that.
That's fine.
Which then leaves you kind of 200-ish, 37 feet uphill. So add on, however many yards to get to the green. And if you're not hitting a high lofted club into the green, the ball will fly through the back of the green because it won't grab. And long is very, very bad. So what we'll see the shorter players doing, not in the Ryder Cup because it'll all be very long, but players who are playing this as an average golfer will hit down the middle of the fairway, hit to the right of the green, and then they'll have a chip where they can see the whole surface. That will not be happening at the Ryder Cup. These guys will be hammering it. Some of them, in fact, hitting 3-wood off that tee in order to carry those bunkers and not reach the next ones.
Yeah, it's a tricky one because 517 yards for most golfers is a long way. For these guys, a tee shot slightly downhill, like they're going to cover the bunker 300 yards.
Yeah.
Pretty much everyone, well, not everyone, but the vast majority of the people in these teams will be able to cover that.
Yeah.
So then all of a sudden you got, 200-ish. Let's say they get it 320 down there. You got 180, 37 up the hill. So you're going to be playing about 200. It's like a 7-iron. So all of a sudden these distances, they do shrink. And it just depends what they do with the rough.
Okay, so I'll tell you what they've done with the rough.
What about
do you want
Tillinghast Designs?
Do you want to read this entire thing? Can you do it in a normal accent? Are you going to do it in your...
Don't know. Depends. What's wrong with my golf announcer's voice?
I mean, it's fine.
Do American.
The
Bronx, like the Bronx.
Okay, so this is the spiel about the fourth.
I can't do New York. I'm walking here and I can't. That's all
Sounded like kind of like an old Frenchman, really. Right, are you gonna?
Do you want me to do this? Okay, so
who's editing this podcast?
I am.
Tillinghast design genius is undercut significantly, given distances the Ryder Cup players drive the ball. 300 yards on a slightly downhill tee shot carries a lovely cauliflower-shaped bunker. I love cauliflower cheese. On the left, the most everybody Bethpage golfers struggle with. Some longer hitters might hit a 3-wood. That's what you said, Michael. To keep from running into a secondary wall of bunkers at the end of the fairway. A bunker formation that most of us mortals, that's a difficult word, struggle to carry into. From the fairway, these golfers will have midline of circa 200 yards, uphill 37 feet to green, perched just beyond yet another wall of sand. There we go.
Well, that's just me overlaying the flyer.
The drone footage. That was a struggle. I don't think I've ever tried that in so many words.
It's one of the longer voiceovers you would have ever done.
Well, in that accent, it is. Yeah, I kind of lost it.
I liked it though.
Thank you.
Are you going to develop like multiple? You need a trigger for each of these versions of American Pete. So Andy Serkis, when he was recording the Lord of the Rings audiobooks, he would have like a thing that he would do physically that would get him into the voice of Gandalf speaking to Aragorn so he would have something that he would do. You need to develop that so you know how to get into Carolina Pete versus New York Pete.
Okay, so Southern Pete just have a nice like a bourbon.
Oh, okay.
Like posh old school Pete.
Yeah.
It's all alcoholic. I'm like a sherry or something. I don't know. I'm not a method actor.
You could be.
What you're actually saying there is I need to develop a mild form of schizophrenia to kind of come up with these characters and just slip into it. I can do that.
So let me talk to you about this rough because one of the things that they have done is actually cut the rough down from normal.
Yeah.
So during the US Open in 2019, someone mad went and measured the rough, 4.5 inches in height. We're now down to 3 inches in height in the areas of rough, which I don't know whether that benefits the Americans as much as they think it will, because I don't think there's such a disparity between driver distances on tour anymore. I mean, particularly with people like Rory and Rahm. We've got some long boys in the team. Højgaard, famously very, very long. So I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference until they get to these holes here, 9 to 12. You know, they're so far. The problem I'm thinking about is that they're going to be fatigued by the time they get there. They will have walked this extremely hilly golf course, which one of the big problems with this golf course is if you pay that $160 to go and play it, on any of the other golf courses in Bethpage State Park, you're allowed a buggy. On this one, you're not.
Oh my God.
So you have to walk Bethpage Black. And it is really up and down.
And that is it is a genuine issue if you have members of your team who are older, who might not have the same kind of level of fitness they used to have. Like for the European team, maybe Justin kind of stands out, but he is ultimate professional. He's still probably as fit as most of the players in that team. So it will have an impact.
Yeah,
it will definitely have an impact, and that's something that the captains are going to have to manage. Yeah. I think with the rough being low, I honestly don't know how I feel, because Bethpage Black, one of the hardest golf courses in the world, and what you're going to do is take away one of the biggest challenges that the course represents. Yeah. I think they don't have much of a choice, because it is the Ryder Cup. You do want to see birdies. You want to see the players being challenged, but nobody wants to see a hole won with an 8. Would you?
Well, the other team got a 9.
That'd be pretty sick.
That would be cool, to be fair.
Maybe that's one thing they'll do. Oh my God.
They'll make it so difficult.
A Ryder Cup in the future, just turn it into like a proper US Open standard.
Yeah, so some of the things that they noticed during the 2019 US Open have now been rectified in order for this tournament. So the rough that was between the fairway, the first cut, and bunkers that were on the line of play has been almost completely removed to encourage, if you hit it on that line of play and you hit it too far, or you're slightly right or slightly left of where you should be hitting it, that rough has been cut all the way down so that the ball is encouraged into those bunkers, which makes it, much more of a problem. Less so for these guys, because some of these guys aim for bunkers in order to have good clubs into greens and stuff. But they have thought about how that US Open played and tried to adapt the course to make it more penal for the guys who they know will be hitting it where they want, hitting it a long way, and then wanting specific clubs into greens. So there has been the things that were previously shielded about the course have been unshielded, and now the course will show its teeth, hopefully.
I would imagine as well that, and this happens with the European team as well, the US team will have an absolute, they'll have a team of statisticians. There's
an extra S in there that you're doing that he's not doing.
From the Greek. They will all have teams working on how to set the golf course up to maximize their team's strengths.
Yeah.
So that is why you tended to see in the past, and kind of seems to be going here, the US team always had much shorter rough because they had the longer hitters, but not the most accurate. So they will be looking at all these different factors, because this is something Donald did with Rome. Like he would look at even like to the minutiae of, right, okay, so, Bryson's going to be on this hole, even though he kind of wasn't. You're looking at a single player for this hole. What are his strengths? What are his weaknesses? Should we cut the rough down there on the left? No, it actually sees he misses 70% of his drives on the left. We'll keep it thick there. So down to those kind of minute levels.
Yeah, Thomas Bjorn.
From the Danish.
Yeah, he's Danish. Danish. Wow. I need some of this. In Paris, they had worked out that the guys who are playing on the European Tour were much better between 190 and 170 yards into greens, and that the US players were going to try and hit it a long way. So they made the long way bit of it really tight, opened up the fairways at the point where they knew they were statistically better. Yeah. And then everyone was having to hit that club in, and the Team Europe were just better at it.
Yeah, I think that all these sort of tactics, like sort of behind the scenes, aren't really talked about enough, I don't think. I don't think they're kind of like the stuff that goes on even before the event is like massive, and it really determines and really, favours the home team a lot. So I think it's something that's not talked about.
I think there's a lot of cards that are kept close to their chest as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like if Europe have found a way to get an advantage on home soil, they probably don't want to lead the USA in that direction as well. But at the same time, I guess they do trade blows, and that's why it's so hard to win an away Ryder Cup at the moment. But yeah, by the sounds of it, if they have found a way to make it favour the US team a bit more, great. But from like a real casual observer looking in, both teams seem so closely matched. I don't really know what part of their game they're looking at.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to who's the longest and who's the straightest, really. It's not necessarily there's not necessarily a big difference anymore. There was a long time ago when the players on the European Tour played on courses in Europe, and the players on the PGA Tour, who were mostly Americans until people like Tony Jacklin and Seve went over there, all of those American players were playing different courses to players who were playing on the European Tour. So setting up your course to make it a like exaggerated version of the courses you play on was great, because when people would come, they'd be like, what the hell is this? I've never played anything this long. Or you'd come to a European course and be like, wow, this is really tight and really tight. Like that doesn't necessarily happen anymore, because almost everyone plays all of their golf in America anyway. This is just an interesting one I wanted to highlight about missing the fairway. So this is the hardest hole on the course, the 15th. It's a par 4, 484 yards. During the US Open, it played 4.36 shots. And the green is 50 feet above the player's head if they land in the middle of the fairway. So you cannot see the bottom of the flag. And this is the best stat about it, is that if you miss the fairway off the tee, you have a 60% chance of making a bogey.
Yeah. Nice.
Which is absurd.
I think maybe that's. I don't know if we'll be able to get the stats hole by hole, but actually revisiting that and seeing the players who missed the fairway there, like how many do actually make a par.
Well, I'll tell you what.
With the rough being down.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. While you're watching the tournament, send us messages on Instagram about the 15th. When we get to the 15th, we'll all hold our breath to make sure they don't miss the fairway.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest one of the biggest dividing factors with the Ryder Cup, and again, this is all like stats based, is you would imagine that it is putting.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you would imagine that that's going to be one of the key deciding factors, because we all have these famous images of Ryder Cups, and it's usually someone holding a putt, because that's what it comes down to. And this is why Poulter was such an amazing kind of Ryder Cup player, is like ball striking wise, by his own volition, I'm sure he'd agree. He wasn't the best ball striker in the world. He's obviously a great player, but under the caution, when the Ryder Cup was on the line, you'd want him with the putt.
Yeah.
Because he had that thing. He had it.
Just had something.
Yeah, he was the man.